for Nolan Xavier Wells. 18 years old, gone too soon. Mississippi, y'all got some explaining to do. Mississippi, need to release that report. Low down, dirty ass Mississippi. What you hiding? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? Talk. I pray the family get real answers. And no, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today. Mississippi, the Most High gonna really deal with you. July 4th lights, boat ride with the crew. Young King Nolan chasing dreams, Ocean Springs through and through. Horn Island called his name, he relaxing in the blue. 2 days later found on the sand. What happened to you? Independent autopsy dropped, but it's undetermined. Red mark on the back of the head, neck structures missing. Absurd. State sitting quiet, toxicology on the shelf. Family screaming for truth, but y'all protecting yourself. Nolan was a star athlete with a future bright. Now his mama crying every single night. Golden trip turned nightmare. Questions in the air. Who was on that island? Why the silence there? Mississippi, need to release that report. Low down, dirty ass Mississippi. What you hide? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? I pray the family get real answers. And no, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today. Mississippi, the Most High gonna really deal with you. Grand jury waiting, but the people still fighting. No severe trauma, they say, but the story don't add up clean. Waves whispering secrets, covering up the scheme. Oh, young black man gone, another one in the South. History repeating, time to open your mouth. What you hiding in them files? Why the delay? Transparency dying, why the family pray? Nolan's light was shining, future snatched away. Now the whole world watching what Mississippi say. We marching, we posting, we demanding justice loud for every mother losing sons behind that murky cloud. Oh.
I pray the family get real answers.
No more games, no more lies.
No more games, no more lies.
Nolan deserved better, the truth never dies. From the island to the courtroom, we standing tall. Mississippi,
Your reckoning,
gon' come.
one and all.
Finding all. Mississippi, need to release that report. Release it now, release it now, release it now. Need to release that report. Mississippi, what you hiding? Why you not talking? Why the hell you not saying a damn thing? I pray the family get real answers. No, we the people won't go away. Never, hell no, not today, not today. Mississippi, Most High gonna really deal with you. For Nolan Wells, we won't go away. Release the report. Justice now.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right. So hello, Natasha. Fred the Jig is here. All right, let's get into it. User ZT7C. Deborah is in the virtual building. Paul Parody. All right. Natasha said the math ain't mathing. Exactly. Make it all make sense. Bronze Flat Power God. Hello. A Bronze Flat Power God. Hello, beloved. Okay, so let's get into it. Over thoughts. Everybody hit that like button. Chilly Willy from Philly. All right, so that all being said, and without further ado, before we get started, as per usual, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Kratz. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. All right, so let's get ready to get back into it. I'm just wondering, what are some of you doing up so early? Now, me personally, I'm up so early because I went to bed early last night. Y'all, when we were on the last live, I told you all I was so tired. My eyes were hurting. My eyes were hurting. But guess what happened to me after I got off the live? Right after I got off the live, I intended to just go take a shower and go to bed. But then someone called me literally as soon as I closed out the live and asked me to come on their show at 8 o'clock. And I was like, I couldn't say no. And so anyway, I had to go on another show and I was so tired. After I got done, I had to do a TikTok. So then I went to do my TikTok, and y'all, why did I fall asleep doing the darn TikTok? I fell asleep doing the TikTok, y'all. I woke up and my TikTok was still sitting there half done. Okay, please make it all make sense. Now, I finally went ahead and finished it, but when I did, it was to no avail because low down nefarious TikTok took the video down. So I tried to do the video again and just tried to speak in code. Honey, they still took that video down. There is a full-on attack on people that are posting about the Nolan Wells case. All right, a full-on attack. Hold on. Like, so everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now let me just show you all this mess. And I didn't even say anything inappropriate or anything. Rupin said, I saw you, Queen. You did, beloved. Oh my goodness. I was tired. I don't know if you could tell. My eyes were hurt and I didn't even want to come on camera. But Dennis is like, you got to go on camera. So look at this. This is what TikTok is doing to the poor little old queen. But not just me. They're doing it to the lounge, Jay Megan. Okay, this is what they said. Now, they didn't even give me a reason. They didn't even give me a reason. When you click on violation reason, it just basically said that it was because my content violated the community guidelines. But how? Why? When? Where? Okay, all I'm trying to do is report a story. What is really going on here? There seems to be a concerted effort. You see, and I'm joking about it, just making light of it, but really it ticks me off because this just further makes me feel like we're not going to get justice, okay? We're not going to get justice. People are being silenced, or they're attempting to silence people, shall I say. And there you see I had to appeal it. Now, mind you, that's just one of them. I had two videos that I did because I redid it talking to code, like I said, and it still took it down. But nonetheless, let's continue. And also, it's important to note that the low down dirty devils, i.e. the MAGA minions, aka the Confederates, have composed a list of names of people of which they're supposed to be sending these names to, I guess the frenemies, the legal counsel or whatever, to have these people sued, okay, for reporting on Nolan's case. Now let's take a look at the list. Because when I saw it, I had to crack up. But you know who I noticed wasn't on this list? I'll tell you in a second. Now, first of all, why do they have my good friend The Lounge as number one? It's The Lounge number one. What did she ever do? Okay, please pay attention. This is all nefarious. They have my good friend Secret Service Sam on here. Okay, they have Bishop Talbot Swan. All right. They have the lady that cleaned up the audio, Janetta Brantley. They have Boogie the Lowdown, somebody that I also follow. This is all crazy. They have Elliot Connie, the parapsychologist, right? Who breaks down people's body language and when they're lying and stuff. Well, not body language, but people when they're lying and stuff like that are being deceptive. Don't y'all find this very interesting? They have all of these people's names on here, y'all. They want them to be sued. They have Faith Lauren on here. That's the lady that claims that she witnessed the fight on the boat just the other day. Even though I don't know if I believe her, because why did she wait all this time to come out and say anything? Okay, and then they have the Stony Love Morning Show. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure we'll find out. So anyway, what do you all think about this? Baller Alert is on here. Don Lemon is on here. Okay, and of course, Kibra Lee is on here because they already sent her a cease and desist. So yeah, that's the gist of it. But you know, like I said, you know who isn't on there? Ha! It's the Queen. Okay, and guess who else? Nancy Grace. They didn't put the Queen or Nancy Grace on that list because they know better. They already know better. Please pay attention. Hmm. Because how do they have Don Lemon on there but not Nancy Grace? Make it all make sense. Okay, make it all make sense. They have Don Lemon, but not Nancy Grace. Okay, they don't have me on there because, like I told you, they already know better. These low down rotten scoundrels. All right, these low down rotten scoundrels. Now they know I know the law, so don't even try it. Okay, so now with that up been said, let's talk about what these devils are up to. Because do you all remember? And of course you do. I don't even know why I'm asking. So just reflect back on about a week or so ago when tap dancing Rage Tatum, he and Warren Hudson went back. They took a return trip to Horn Island. Okay. And remember how I told you all, you heard it here first. I was just telling you all how there was no emotion, there was no semblance of sadness, remorse, or any type of, and I'm not talking for doing anything nefarious, but if you left your friend there while your friend was drunk and now your friend never made it back home, I would think you would maybe feel sorry, have some remorse for that. Not saying you did anything nefarious, but remember how I told you there was like no tears, no choking up, no sort of emotion being shown at all? And you're back at the spot where you claim you left your friend, right? Just a few weeks ago. But now they return back to the scene with their attorneys because, as I told you on yesterday morning, they call themselves doing their own little old investigation, which I find interesting. Okay, so they said they were returning out there not to gather and collect evidence, but they said, well, really, I shouldn't even call it an investigation. That's what the guy on TikTok called it. But here's the thing. It's not really an investigation according to them because they said they're not looking for any evidence or anything like that, which I really don't believe them. I mean, I'm just wondering if maybe somebody maybe thinks they left their DNA somewhere or maybe they dropped something that they used. I don't know. Okay, what are y'all out there looking for? But they claim they're out there looking for the layout of the land and the dynamics. Now, I told you yesterday that Warren himself said on Rage Bait Tap Dancing Tatum show that in fact they go there every year, specifically around July, and that Nolan went with them last year. So if you go every year, then you should already know the layout and the dynamics. So why are you really there? But now they want to say that they got all choked up and broken down while they were there. Let's get into it. Nolan Wells' frenemies, overcome with emotion on return to Fateful Island. Now, please pause for dramatic effects. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? This is TMZ. Okay, this is TMZ reporting this. This is their headline. This is their headline. Let's read it again. Nolan Wells' friends overcome with emotion on return to Fateful Island. So we're supposed to believe they're all sad and choked up. And let me just show you the picture of Warren, and I guess it's his attorney. That's what it looks like, standing there looking all forlorn. Okay, please pay attention. These people are something else. I don't believe a word of anything they say. I don't believe a word of anything they say. But what I really do want to know is who's on that real list. Look at this. Okay, this is what Yes, overthoughts, another lie. I absolutely believe it. Is this grief or is this damage control? I have several questions. Okay, is it grief or damage control? I'm going to say it's the latter, in my opinion. Now, they go on to say that Nolan Wells' frenemy set out Friday to Horn Island after launching an investigation of their own into the death of the teen, and the visit was intense. Warren Hudson and Jax Patalo took their lawyers, J. Tyler Cox and Edward Andrew Paltzik, to inspect the Mississippi Barrier Island, and a realization hit them like a ton of bricks. So you mean to tell me it hit them like a ton of bricks all of a sudden? Now, as I said, Warren was just there with Rage Batum Tatum, Warren, and nothing seemed to have hit you like a ton of bricks then. You know what I think happened? I think that the fact that Warren got all this backlash for him going on Tap Dancing Tatum's show and sitting there and talking about Nolan as if he were ordering lunch or talking about what he had for last night's dinner, and then furthermore went to the island, didn't have any type of sympathy, empathy, or any of that. And now he says to himself, this is just my opinion, mind you, but now he says to himself, let me just go back there again. And this time I'll bring up the waterworks. This time I'll say that I was sad. This time I'll say that I was overcome by emotion. I could barely stand. I had to hold myself up. That's what it looks like. It's giving guilt. It's giving somebody knows something and somebody's not telling. It's giving a whole lot of lies. You ought to pay attention. And we're going to talk about lies in just a minute, because Bart's name isn't a whole lie. Now, I'm not saying that Bart lied. I'm saying that somebody's lying for Bart, in my opinion. Let's not forget how Trayston lied about social media. Okay. And they remember when they said, anybody heard from Nolan? How in the hell is anybody going to hear from Nolan when y'all had his phone? Okay, how's that going to work? Now, I find it interesting that all of these participants who went on the trip to Horn Island with Nolan in tow that day, and Nolan didn't have to be on the boat with every last one of them, because we know some of them rode along on different boats. But the bottom line is, all of these people who Nolan went there with, they have been caught in contradicting stories. They've contradicted not only each other, but themselves. And they've told a myriad of lies of which they have been caught in. Now, if you're innocent, you've done nothing nefarious, then why are they lying? And why is Rage Batum Tatum trying to sit here and convince us that there's nothing to see here, folks? These boys are innocent. They took polygraph tests. I believe them. Y'all are just reaching. Y'all just don't like white folk. Why is he saying all of that? Okay? Because he's painting a narrative. I'm so glad you asked. So anyway, my thing is this. They want to sit here and tell all these lies. Well, don't get mad at us, because we're searching for the truth. And I also find it interesting that the only ones who seem to have appeared to be drunk, I'm going to say that again, the only ones who seem to have appeared to be drunk, as they claim Nolan was, is them, specifically Warren. I'm going to go to the footage in just a moment. And also, a TikToker has uncovered some information about cameras, okay? And we're going to get to that too. These people are so full of it, in my opinion. Okay, these are crocodile tears. I don't think they were overcome with anything. They should have been overcome with guilt. Whether it's because they feel bad about leaving their friend there by himself, according to them, after he'd been drinking, according to them, after he may have had illegal substances, according to Rage Batum Tatum. All these lies that they put out there, all these false narratives they put out there, okay, spewing all this vitriol on a poor victim who's no longer with us. This is what they have done. And Rage Batum Tatum has been a big part of that. But let's continue with TMZ and their nefarious article. So it says it hit him like a ton of bricks. Cox tells TMZ things got raw for the boys. The trip was tough for Warren and Jax because that's the last place they saw their best friend. Also, now he was also Jax's best friend too. So how many best friends did Nolan have? Because I find it so darn interesting that all of these minions want to say that they're Nolan's best friends. Okay, but none of them cared enough about Nolan to make sure he got home safely. So Warren's his best friend, Jackson's his best friend, Trayston's his best friend, and Jay Bond is his best friend. The only one who ever acted after Nolan's passing like they were really his best friend was Jay Bond. Okay, they could miss me with it. They could miss me with it. Now, that all being said, they go on to say that a couple of times we had to pause and give them their space. He tells us that Nolan's frenemies had been an emotional wreck for the last month, explaining that Nolan was a brother to them and Nolan loved them. How are they going to speak for Nolan? They've not been able to grieve. They're good Ocean Spring boys. They're good Ocean Spring boys, or did he mean to say they're good old boys, like the good old boy system that runs things down there in Ocean Springs? Okay, I find it interesting. The attorneys are also representing Nolan's friend Morgan Seymour, but they said he wasn't on the outing due to school responsibilities. Well, then why does he need an attorney to represent him if he wasn't even there on the trip that day? That makes no sense, in my opinion. Now, as you know, the boys lawyered up after they received threats over Nolan's death, as well as accusations. Here's the thing. Is that when they lawyered up? Because they received threats? I don't think so. I don't think so. Is that also why they removed their social media and started moving real sketchy? It says they lawyered up after they received threats over Nolan's death, as well as accusations that they may have been involved. So let me get this straight. I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. Now, if in fact someone actually did something to Nolan and it was not them, why would they ever feel the need to go hire attorneys? If something happened to your best friend, ask yourself, if something happened to your best friend and you knew that you had not done anything to them, even if people online were talking trash, would you go pay thousands of dollars for a lawyer when you didn't do anything? I think I would just rather go to the police and sit down, take a polygraph test, tell them whatever I need to tell them that's going to help or whatever. Try to help them get to the bottom of it, talk to the family and see what I can do to assist them as well. And also at the same time, share and give my condolences for Nolan. Okay? What I wouldn't do is go hire a lawyer, shut the hell up, not want to say anything to anyone, and then remove and deactivate my social media and act like there's nothing to see here. And then when people start talking, then I want to go on a race baiters podcast and tell a bunch of lies and stories that don't even make sense. That's what I wouldn't do. How about y'all? Okay, how about y'all? So anyway, goes on to say Warren's father, Benjamin, launched a crowdfunding site to cover the trio's legal expenses. Meanwhile, Nolan Wells' parents are conducting an independent investigation into the mysterious circumstances surrounding his death in the hopes of getting all the facts. I pray that they do get all the facts. Okay, I pray that they do get all the facts. And here's the thing. Let me just talk about Warren's father, if I may, for just a minute. Absolutely, Lurk Squad. I absolutely believe it's a cover up. Okay. It's your character said the reverse psychology tactics aren't working. Exactly. They're trying to play the reverse Uno card, honey. But I got to draw 4 for their ass. Pay attention. So, with that all being said, they want to sit here and try to have us think that they're all sad and all of this. We've not seen a single bit of emotion for them this whole month. And then now their lawyer says they haven't been allowed to grieve. Well, why not? Why haven't they been allowed to grieve? Because of threats? Let me tell you something. If the lawyer wants to say they haven't been allowed to grieve because of threats or for whatever his reason is, what does he think about Nolan's family, his parents, specifically his mother? This poor woman is the one who hasn't had time to grieve. She hasn't been allowed to grieve because of low-down racist devils, MAGA mans, i.e. Confederates, have been harassing her, making threats to the family, and nobody from local law enforcement nor the FBI has arrested a single darn person, okay? But they're sitting up here arresting people for the other side, but what about them? Shouldn't they be looking into what's happening to them too? Now, I'm sure they'll say they are, but are they really? And if so, how come they haven't come up with anything? How do you make 3 arrests? Okay, 3 arrests, but nothing over here? Also, let's not forget the phone calls where they said they were receiving threats. That just sounded like people talking trash. Okay, that sounded like people talking trash. At the end of the day, and since when does trash talk become a threat? Unless someone's threatening to do physical harm or something like that, I don't consider it a threat. It's just trash talk. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now let's talk about these lies. Okay, let's talk about these lies. First of all, let's go back to this news report. Remember the news report where they talked about how now let's talk about this. There was a news report that came out. A family of Nolan Wells' former teammate to sue egregious actors over online accusations and threats. Okay, now let's just go back and revisit this for a moment. And then we're going to talk about this lie that's going on about Bart. There's a lie somewhere because something doesn't smell right. That means it's fishy. Let me start this over. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
News now at 5. I'm Hugh Keaton. New developments tonight in the Nolan Wells case focused on legal action by the Wells family and the family of another young man who was on Horn Island July 4th. The Wells family has put media companies on notice now to save data from social media, location sharing, and messaging apps Nolan Wells had on his phone. Subpoenas from an attorney went out Tuesday, and the media companies have 21 days to provide data to the family's lawyers. And now threats on social media against the family of another person on Horn Island the day Wells disappeared, sparking legal action. The attorney for the family of Bart Edmonston Jr.'s family has sent a cease and desist letter to a content creator accusing them of numerous false and defamatory statements published on social media. The Edmonston's family attorney says the posts have led to death threats, which have been reported to authorities, including the FBI. Nolan Wells' family has also posted about threats it has received since their son's death. A spokesperson for the FBI confirmed to WLOX News that the agency is working to address threats made to people connected to the case.
Now, notice when he's talking about threats made to people connected to the case, he didn't say anything about them making any arrest. I know Dane Calloway is not in my chat. Okay. Hey, Dan Calloway, shout out to you, beloved. I'm a big fan and I appreciate you being in my chat this morning. Okay. Now, says Bart's GPS was off on his boat, by the way. You know, I was thinking, what's really going on with that, beloved? Because I said that Bart's information was not listed in that investigative report. And I found that interesting because we remember that in the first report that came out, I believe it was the Coast Guard report, they had his name in there and they said that they went and got his GPS data, but none of that was listed in the report. So I took the liberty of trying to figure out why it wasn't in there. And here's what I found. And it all sounds like a bunch of lies. The United Cajun Navy's report on the Nolan Wells case focused exclusively on three specific boats, omitting Bart Edmonston Jr., because he traveled on a separate vessel and was not part of the primary friend group. According to reports, Edmonston only interacted with the group after they left Horn Island and was not involved in the 4:31 p.m. departure timeline investigated. Now, here's the thing. We know that somebody is lying because if what they say is true, and I absolutely don't believe it is, we know that Warren went on Rage Batum Tap Dancing Tatum's show and said that he got up that morning and called Bart. I called my buddy Bart. That's what he said, right? And he said, I asked him if he could bring his boat because we had some friends coming down from our college and some girls, and I wanted him to bring his boat. He said Bart told him yes because his father had decided he wasn't going to go. So why now are they trying? It just all looks so suspicious because why now are they trying to act as though Bart wasn't even there with any of them and that Bart, in fact, only came to help them tow the boat? Which I absolutely don't believe. Now, if you all saw the video I did yesterday about my theory of what possibly could happen. And I'm not saying if Bart did this, but I'm just saying, my theory is if someone's towing a boat and you're not equipped to handle it, you don't have the proper training or the right equipment or anything like that, and you're towing a boat that weighs thousands of pounds with your boat that weighs thousands of pounds, that's very dangerous. So we know that kinetic energy can make things go awry. Okay, so please pay attention. If you missed that video, please go check it out. All right, so I just find it all interesting, but I'm going to get to this video where we're going to see who it looks like is in the water at Horn Island, and it looks exactly like Bart. I'm not going to say it's Bart. I'm just telling y'all that there's somebody that was on or in the water on Horn Island that looked a whole lot like Bart. And there was Nolan there, and there was other people there that have something to do with this story. And one of the things is this. Now, they claim that Nolan was so inebriated, okay? But funny thing is, the person who looked like they were so drunk is Warren. That's who looked like they were drunk. It was Warren. And I'm not saying that he was drunk. I'm just saying that he absolutely looked like he was. Okay, please pay attention. So I'm going to go to that footage in just a second. Likes up, everyone, please. Like, share, and subscribe. All right, so that have been said, oh, say yo to you as well, Dane Calloway, beloved. Now, here it is. Let's get into it. And we also going to see these cameras that this lady found. Now, I wonder where the footage is. That's what I would like to know. Here we go.
Footage here of everything that's going on this Horn Island, and I was skimming through the video because this is the video right before the fight broke out with Tristan and the guy who Tristan said he got into it with. This is Tristan right here with the hat on, you guys, and he's about to get into the fight with whoever. I believe this was either Warren or Wyatt's little brother, one of their little brother who I heard that Tristan got into it with. So this is right when the fight was finna break out right here. But as I was skimming through this video, you guys, wait until you see what I find here. First of all, oh my God, looky here, right? And right now as we speak, I have just found Nolan. And you see Nolan, look, you know what's crazy, guys? This was Nolan right here with his glasses on the same day he took that picture on. Look what I see here, guys. I swear I did not see this at first until right now. Here's Nolan right here. Here's Nolan right here at this bottom of this boat, top of this boat, before the fight break out. There is Nolan. I don't know who that is. He is by. I wanted to show you guys something. We can all agree that is Nolan right there when this fight takes place. I believe someone said that this fight broke out at 5 p.m. Here we is seeing Nolan. If this is Nolan here, he is alive at 5 p.m. But it couldn't be 5 p.m. because we had that phone call that was around 4:30ish when these guys was on the boat. So they're not even on the boat yet. So whoever said that the fight happened at 5 p.m., the fight did not happen at 5 p.m. Guess who else I see here? Let's zoom in on all these people. So far, we had a grown man right here drinking beer with these glasses on. That we can agree that is a grown adult. Here's Warren right here, happy-go-lucky. Warren is the one. Warren is
Now look at Warren's face. Does he not look like he's white boy wasted? Look at him. Look at his hair. Okay, he kind of looks like Sean Penn mixed with Robert Englund, the guy who played Freddy Krueger, if you ask me. But look at him. He's the one who looks like he's drunk. Okay, but they were saying all of these things about Nolan. Please pay attention. And by the way, you all make sure you follow Dane Calloway. He has amazing information and commentary.
he got his phone out in his hand too as well. I don't know who's videoing this video right here, but it's not Warren because somebody is still panning it around. Look who we see here, you guys. Tell me who is this at the bottom of this screen right here? None
Damn it, Bart.
other than the Bart Simpson guy. Bart Simpson, I found you in this video. You are asking somebody to hand you something off of this boat. I don't know who this is right here. Let's move that from up top. Guess who else is on this boat? This boat here. There is her with the bikini on. That is Katie and her friend. Katie and her friend is on the boat. What is this girl doing in the water? She have a water bottle or something. But we was looking for Nolan in this video. Guess what? I have found Nolan in this video. That is Nolan right there. That is Nolan, and he is alive. Whatever time this is, that is Nolan with those glasses on. Look. You see Nolan with these glasses on? You see his hairstyle? You see the way his hair is? Look. That is Nolan right there in the water, atop of this boat. I don't know who that is he is by, but that is Nolan, and he was alive at this time. Right before this fight with Tristan that's about to go on right here. This was right when the fight was taking place. And at this time, Nolan was not with Katie. Katie is on the boat. I don't know whose German boat this is. I wonder what is Bart's boat name, because Nolan is not with Katie at this time. Katie is with Bart. That is Bart Simpson right there at the bottom. Let's go to, look, you see this? You see this guy? You see that mustache? Go back. That is Bart. That is Bart right there asking somebody to hand him something. And he have a drink in his hand. I see Nolan in the water with nothing in his hand. That is Nolan right there. Well, we can't see his hands, but that is Nolan right there. This was the video of the fight that was about to get ready right before the fight. You guys leave a comment. What do you think now? Because Nolan is not with Katie at this time. Nolan is not with Katie. The fight is about to take place. Tristan said when he walked past Nolan after the fight, he made a comment to him and the girl that he was with. Some girl, he said that Nolan was hugged up with that girl. Tristan is a liar. Here's Nolan right here without Katie. Nolan is way over here. Katie is way over here on this boat. Katie is on this boat, and Bart Simpson is right down there asking for something, asking somebody to hand him something. Warren is right here, all in his phone, getting a selfie video or whatever he's doing. But there he is with a drink in his hand as well. Warren, the one that looks drunk. You guys leave a comment.
This is now my third time making this video because they keep taking it down because they don't want you to see what I have found. Katie has dry snitched, y'all. Here we see Katie's Snapchat where she's wearing a teal swimsuit. And
Now, I'm playing this video again because I actually showed this to you all last week, I think it was, or earlier this week. But I'm showing it to you all again to show that when he said that's Katie in the striped bathing suit, that she says the same thing.
she's with a girl in a blue and white striped swimsuit. On this video of the three boats, you're going to see a girl in a blue and white striped swimsuit right here on Bart's boat. And right next to her with the same long wet hair is a girl in a teal swimsuit on Bart's boat. Make sure you have your brightness turned all the way up because here we have Katie in a teal swimsuit, and look
I'm sorry, that's Katie in the teal swimsuit, her friend in the stripes.
at her head. She is wearing a white hat. Oh, look, the video of the boat getting towed. Teal swimsuit, white hat. And that's not all, folks. Again, turn your brightness all the way up because right here, we've got somebody wearing red trunks. Oh, and look what we have here. Red trunks. And here's those same red trunks on the shore right after the fight with Tristan. Katie is claiming that she allegedly caught a ride home with somebody named Marty McGrath. It just so happens that a Marty McGrath is the co-owner of the Biloxi Bay RV Resort and Marina in St. Martin. Here it is, and my, that is a massive dock way out in the water. And would you look at that? It's right next to the grandparents' house. Now, in that report with the GPS coordinates, didn't they say that they went southwest towards St. Martin Bayou? Yeah, that's right, it did. And it also took them 45 minutes to get to that boat ramp over there that only takes about 6 minutes on land. Like I said, they are trying to take down my page. Make sure you are following my backup here. But Katie, I want to say one thing to you. You're young, and I know you don't realize this yet, but these are not your friends. Be a hero. Do what's right.
Island right there. Looks like there's a sailboat out there, maybe.
It's up in the water.
That's the island. That is how long it is. It is pretty long, guys.
Yeah.
That's the west end, or that's the east end.
And this light.
And then over here is going to be the west end, and this is the washing machine that they're talking about. Water is pretty choppy today, but that is the island. There's some houses right there. The next place I'm going to take you to is over by Lover's Lane, so you guys can see how much housing and stores are over there that have possible footage. But yeah, let's get to the end of this pier. Wait a minute, you guys, there's fucking cameras on the fucking pavilion. And they can't even say they don't work because there's a fucking solar panel. Now I know you see me watching you, and I know you see me watching me. There's literally cameras everywhere out here, y'all. Every fucking where. Okay, so I have now made it to Old Fort Bayou Pier where they pulled in to a stop. This is an oyster house right here, and then next to it is the fireworks stand. Now, I don't see any cameras here, but let me get in my car and I'll show you where there is a camera because I'm too fat to walk. For reference. What's that? Oh, what's that? It's a camera, guys, with a light. What is this, guys? Oh, yeah. Okay, we are now over here. So that is how far the oyster house is. I want to show you guys something. Look at that fancy house over there. Y'all see any cameras? I see lights. I wonder if there's a camera over there. I'll have to go on the other side of that bridge and see what's going on. Now where the ramp is, there is a drawbridge up there because this is a short bridge, so I'm sure there's cameras up there. They have to have cameras. I'm sure it's a state law. I'll have to look into that. Now this is where they would have come in at. Look at these fancy houses over here. That man walking his dog. I bet you they have cameras. Maybe them. Or maybe them. What about them? Interesting, right? Alright, let's go look at some more. We're going to walk on this side of the dock so you guys can get a better understanding of what we're looking at over here. Okay, we are on the other side of the dock. And I want you guys to take a look at this. That's a catfish house. They are definite to have cameras in there. Look at these houses. You can tell me none of these houses saw anything on their next stop to Lover's Lane, which one on point to Lover's Lane is. That, my friends, is Lover's Lane. And you're going to tell me that I ain't questioned. None of them houses. By the way, that's a restaurant. That's a restaurant. So they have even better view. But they haven't questioned any of these motherfuckers who own these houses. Look at that. That's a historical home registered for the state of Mississippi. You know they have cameras. I'm just saying. Oh look, my friends found the cameras. Ain't that something? All right, we're gonna get back on Lover's Lane. I just had to explore the little neighborhood they had to the side there. All right, this is back on Lover's Lane. So this is where one of them home people live. I'm not sure if it was a male or female. One of their shops was here on Lover's Lane. You're gonna tell me.
No, not the houses. They're beautiful.
Not these houses. All right, let me touch this.
Let's go there, Mom.
Oh, Lord have mercy. There was a house over there that had the gate completely padded up. You couldn't see through it, so I can only assume it might have been the house. But yes, this is, look at this.
Can we go there?
No, baby. Water on every side with all these stunning houses.
No, we just go see.
I just had to show you all. Okay, now we are at the end of Lover's Lane. We're going to go back up. You're going to see all these fancy houses coming from this direction. I zoomed out as much as I could. You get the idea. Look at the house. Stunning. Boom.
Right?
And the biggest house had the most private gate. You'll see all these wrought iron gates how they just open and the people are chill and they don't care. Wait till you see this next one. It's quite interesting. And I bet you $1 million at these houses have cameras. Now, I'm not going to stop to look at everyone, but let me put y'all up here. Okay. It's coming up. You ready? It's so hidden. Look, every gate is concealed. Okay.
My homie Nolan Wells and his family.
I want y'all to listen to this fool right here. Okay, he is utterly ridiculous. He's still out here trying to clout chase. Natasha said the footage, you believe the footage was edited? I'm just wondering what they did with the footage showing when they returned back from Horn Island. Remember, we saw that we saw them exiting, but we didn't see them return. Okay, on that footage we didn't see them return, and I find that very interesting. What's really going on here? And who has this footage from the cameras that she just showed?
I'm gonna play the video, but are we just gonna ignore the fact that this guy is working way too hard to be the Ocean Springs apologist? He's clearly talking to the town. Christine is not at fault for what's happening, so do not attack her, Ocean Springs and white community, blaming Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, and the black community, because as he goes on, he says that, you know what? They have nothing. They didn't even know these people. They came down here. They found her. Right? Like, so he's clearly saying that the town is attacking her, but you're admonishing Ben Crump and Al Sharpton. You're absolving them of their threats. We understand why you're mad at us, but don't be mad at us or her. Be mad at Ben and Al and the outside black community. But Niggerito A, he wasn't having that shit. He cold blood breaks it down. It's like, nah, bring that smoke my way. You gotta watch this guy, man. Like, this dude, he problematic. Stay woke.
Hey, this going out to my homie Nolan Wells and his family and my partner right here. Go on, let them know what you want to say.
I just want to tell y'all one thing. Y'all ain't gonna fuck with them people family now.
Yeah, just leave them alone, man. Them people just trying to reach for any type of straw to get some help, man. You know, it don't even matter what she say, right?
We stand for right. We stand for right. We don't stand for no wrong, dog. You know, right and right, wrong and wrong. Y'all can't get mad at this woman because this shit ain't never happened to her. So therefore,
exactly.
She wouldn't know which direction to go to try to get help.
Thank you.
So that's what she done did. So y'all want to finger point at it. Y'all just leave her alone. Y'all
really want to know the truth? She don't even know how to get in touch with Ben Crump. Them people got in touch with them. They came down here. They got in touch with her.
And get what? To keep this shit peaceful, if y'all want to, or we can get on some gangster shit. I ain't gonna use this shit as no race. We not gonna use all that shit because the shit already been divided before the shit even happened. So
Negrito said two things of interest. It already been divided. This man, Trayston, and everybody else is saying that it wasn't. He also said we keep it peaceful, we go on some gangster shit.
Therefore, it's been a light shed on the whole situation and the whole incident, and people want to run with this narrative and run with that narrative, but the whole time, bro, put two and two together. This woman just wants justice for a child. I'm not gonna sit on here antagonize no one and say,
there you go.
Oh, this way.
Now this is where Haircut Cool gets real uncomfortable. He said that this has been a light shed on the situation. He said, read between the lines. He said she just wants justice for her child. The barber tries to cut him off, and he feels extraordinarily uncomfortable with this line of conversation. He about to try to cut him off.
This will happen. He killed them, this and that. I'm not doing that defamation shit.
We're just looking for answers. That's it. Just strictly answers, man.
But for y'all attacking that woman, man, listen. No racist shit, but y'all.
Call Ben office and attack Ben. That's what you do. Attack him because he the one brought that stuff on us like that. That girl just down here living, bro. If you notice, she ain't never said nothing. But I heard people saying, well, she didn't denounce what they were saying. Man, the girl ain't in her right mind right now. Just give her some time, man. That man dead, right? Give her some time and just chill.
Hey, I'm in my Burning Man water. I ain't scared of you.
Well, I appreciate you swinging by, man. And, you know, we up here at the barbershop doing our thing, man. You know, he just wanted to say something, you know, because he know the people, too. We all know these people, man. We all from the same area, man. We know these people, bro. Man, this stuff hurt everybody, man. Just everybody just chill. Just chill.
The same energy y'all got for her, just send that shit my way. That was good.
All right, man. See y'all later.
His signal. Whether you like it or not, the town is attacking her because she did not denounce Ben Crump or Al Sharpton for what they interpreted them as saying, that they're not actually saying, in my opinion. But yet, when it comes to them, they don't have to denounce nor be attached to racist, incendiary, white supremacist, deplorable, or heinous words or behaviors associated with the dominant society. Let that sink in.
Here's where the Nolan Wells investigation stands 1 month later. A lot has happened. 3 people have been arrested. There have been 2 autopsies. Lawyers have subpoenaed records from Snapchat and Life 360. The FBI is investigating death threats. Ben Crump has assembled his own legal team. Nancy Grace is covering the case. Colin Kaepernick paid for an independent autopsy. Tyler Perry paid for the funeral. But here's what hasn't happened. No one has explained how the black teenager died. That's the story. Federal arrests, they're not for Nolan's death. They're for threats allegedly made against judges, witnesses, and others connected to the investigation. The independent autopsy, it couldn't determine whether Nolan drowned or whether something else happened. And the official Mississippi autopsy, authorities have it, but they're waiting to present it to a grand jury before releasing the findings. Meanwhile, social media has filled a vacuum with theories, especially over an enhanced audio recording from the day Nolan disappeared. But audio experts caution that the viral clips are not the same thing as forensic evidence. For Nolan's family, the goal has not changed. They're not asking investigators to prove a particular theory. They're asking for something much simpler: honesty, transparency, and an answer to the question that has remained unanswered since July 6th. What happened to Nolan Wells? I'm Joe Williams with Word in Black. Follow me for more content and follow us for reporting that
Okay, so I find it all very interesting. This is like looking for needles in a haystack, okay, when we're searching for the truth. All right, I really feel like we're figuring out a lot of things and we're getting some really good information. But the truth of the matter is, why isn't the sheriff seeming to be interested in any of the things that other people are seeing? Why isn't he taking any of these things? Or is he? And he's just not saying anything, but I don't think he is. Why aren't they looking at the footage? I mean, I know they're on social media. We know they're on social media, right? But why aren't they looking at the things that other people are finding? Why don't they have the same questions that we have? Why don't the frenemies have the same questions that we have? Now they want to act like they're going out to Horn Island trying to figure out the dynamics and the layout of the land, and then they get broken down all of a sudden a month later. And Warden was just there 2 weeks ago and didn't shed a tear. Make it all make sense. But hold on. I want you all to pay attention to their explanation as to why Bart's GPS was turned off. So it goes on to say, the boat with the well-documented continuous Garmin track is M14088BU. Now, the Triton that Nolan traveled to Horn Island on, that's the one they're saying he was on. Now, the MDMR GPS data tracks that vessel leaving the mainland at about 9:56 a.m., arriving at Horn Island at 11:14 a.m., beginning its departure at 4:31 p.m., and eventually returning to the mainland. However, Bart Edmondson Jr.'s boat is a different vessel. It's ML1295CB. Now, here's the significant part. The publicly obtained material that I found, mind you, this is AI. I had them doing the work while I was watching the video. The publicly obtained material that I found does not contain a continuous GPS track for Bart's boat. The evidence archive describes Bart's boat as waypoints only, no continuous track in the obtained packet. So there is indeed a GPS data gap, but that is not the same thing as evidence that Bart switched the GPS off. Okay, well, the fact that there's a data gap is also suspicious. Now, it goes on to say, did investigators actually look at Bart's GPS? Apparently, yes. Reporting says that Bart cooperated with investigators and gave them access to his boat and his GPS device. Now, that's what we already know because, as I said, that was in the Coast Guard report. But my thing is, if that information was obtained, I still don't get why it wasn't listed in the investigative report. So they go on to say that if investigators access Bart's GPS, why does the publicly obtained packet contain only waypoints for ML1295CB, rather than the kind of continuous track available for ML4088BU? There are several possible explanations. His equipment may not have recorded continuous tracks. Track logging could have been disabled as a normal setting. The data might not have been recoverable, or investigators simply may not have released the complete extraction. That's what it sounds like to me, I'll go with the latter. Okay. I'll go with the latter option. That at the end of the day, the investigators simply did not release the complete extraction. But the question is, why not? Okay, why not? And why is this lawyer trying to sit here and play in our faces, okay, and tell us that in fact Bart was only there to help the people in the distressed boat, that he was not a part of the initial friend group that traveled there together? Now, didn't we just see him in the water? But even if that wasn't him, didn't Warren come out and say that Bart went with him, that Bart brought his own boat? So why would they say that? See, this is all a play right here. And I want you all to really pay attention, because I have been telling you all for weeks that they're trying to run interference and they are setting this whole thing up for reasonable doubt. The devils are mixing lies with the truth to confuse you. This is what's going on here, in my opinion. Okay? Because if you have all of these different stories and all of these different narratives and people saying some of this and people saying some of that, the people that are potentially going to be grand jury members are watching all of this right now in real time. They're on social media too. They're everyday people just like us. Okay? With that all being said, this is all crazy. And I didn't mean the grand jury. I mean the actual jury in the events that anyone even gets indicted, which I really don't think someone will. Okay, it just seems like the cover-up is too intense. It just really seems like it is, in my opinion. Now, they talk about Bart, cooperating with the police and all of that. And they say there are several explanations. And like I told you all, it just seems to me that the investigators just chose not to put that information in the report. That's what it seems like. And I would just like to know why they wouldn't want to put it in there. They are the ones that said that they retrieved this information from him. Okay? I Am Technology says they made excuses for Bart's dad not being there. That is why Bart drove the boat. Well, yes, according to Warren, he said that his father changed his mind. That's what he said Bart told him. Absolutely. Now, another thing I want to point out is this. Hold on. Now, as I told you all, they were saying that Nolan was so drunk, he was moving slow and all of this foolishness. So what I'm trying to figure out is, how come Nolan looked like he was perfectly fine and Warren looked like he was wasted? And I did, just to be fair, look up some different brands of beer. And the reason I did that is because I looked through a bunch of photos and I only was able to find one picture of No, okay, with a can in his hand. Just one photo, and he looked like he was absolutely fine. Right there. I mean, I guess one of the devils thought they needed to circle it to try to paint the narrative that he was drunk or whatever. Okay. But he doesn't look the least bit drunk at all. And like I told you all, his coach was there. He met up with the coach, ran into him, and they had a conversation. And the coach said that he seemed absolutely fine. But also, you don't even have to take the coach's word for it. We can just take Warren's word. I mean, we can't really take Warren's word, but, at the end of the day, Warren still said, I saw Nolan, and he was always fine. That's what he said. He said that Nolan always looked fine. So if that be the case, then why did he all of a sudden come out and say, or they come out and say, paint this narrative clearly, that he was so drunk and all of these foolish things? Now, I don't know exactly what they were holding in their hand. Hold on. I'm going to go to these pictures in just a second. Now, does anyone in the chat, does anyone know what type of beverage that was? Does anyone know what type of beverage it was? I looked up energy drinks. I looked up beers that, tried to look up beers that maybe look like that type of can that they were holding, but hold on. I didn't see any. Hold on just a second. I'm going to pull this up in a minute. Does anyone in the chat know? None of the men in the chat know what kind of beer that was? Or if it was beer? I'm just curious. I can drink a case of beer and still operate machinery. That don't mean nothing. Okay. Nelson said high tolerance. A high tolerance to what, Nelson? What are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? How would you know if he had a high tolerance? You sound ridiculous, okay? Don't come in here trolling and saying ridiculous things, okay? Don't do that. And then Big Mike says beer. Okay, well, it may be beer. Does anyone know what type of beer it is so we can prove it? So we can prove whether or not it's actually beer? I have several questions. Pull up the picture, Queen. That looked like White Crawl beer. Okay, great. Thank you. Let me look that up, beloved. Hold on just a second. White Crawl. Or is that White Claw? Because I've heard of White Claw as well. Is that a beer? I know I've heard of it. Hold on. Let's see here. None of these look like it. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to share the screen. Lurk Squad said White Claw is water. Somebody else says White Claw. Okay. Let me pull up White Claw. Like, sub, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. I don't think White Claw is water, though. It may be like a hard seltzer water or something like that. Yeah, that's what it is. It is water. It's a seltzer water. Okay, so is that what he's holding? Let's go to the pictures. I'm gonna let you all see it, and you all be the judge. Lurk Squad says show the picture again. Okay, I'm gonna show the White Claw picture, and then we'll go back to those beers. Here we go. I'm not a drinker, so I don't know about these things. Now, does any of these look like it? Because this is the White Claw right here. Do any of these look like it? What do you all think? Look at this can right here. Let's pull up Nolan's picture again. Hold on. Okay, you all see that? Now, I don't know if him and the guy that's with him have the same, I don't think they have the same kind of can because his is red, white, and blue, but Nolan's looks more like it's white, and there appears to be some sort of, I don't know, it looks like that's gold. Nobody recognizes this. Let me see if I can enlarge it. So maybe we can see some writing on it or something like that, maybe. Let me see here. Huh. Y'all see that? Nobody knows what that can is. Nobody has a clue. It must be something, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Okay. I don't know what that is. I don't see anything that looks remotely similar to that can. But even here's my thing though. Lurk Squad says zoom further. Well, I think that's about as good as it gets, beloved. Hold on. Let me see here. I don't want it to be so zoomed in that we can't really see. It looks like there's light blue some sort of light blue emblem or something at the top and gold at the bottom. Let me go back to Google. Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. Try to type in an exact description of that can. I don't see anything that looks like it. I don't see anything that looks like it at all. Okay, Modelo. Is that what that possibly is? I don't know. I thought Modelo came in bottles. They sell those in cans as well. Let me see here. I wouldn't necessarily say that's Modelo. Let me go to the picture so you all can see it for yourselves. Now, check this out. I'm going to share my screen. Lights up, everyone. Please like and share. Oh, ultra light. Okay, we'll go to that in a second. Hold on. Modelo Ultra Light. Is that what y'all think it is? I mean, hmm. It kind of looks like this right here. Kind of looks like that, but not exactly. I don't know. I don't know what it is in his hand, but the bottom line is this. Queen, they said try Michelob Extra Light or Ultra Light. Okay. Michelob. What do y'all think? I mean, it kind of looks like it too, so I don't know. Bottom line is this. Whatever that was in his hand, he looked like he was perfectly fine, and Warren didn't. Okay, Hip Hop Brad says that's exactly what it is. Someone says coconut water. So let me get this straight. Um, okay, everybody's saying different stuff. Perhaps White Claw, coconut water, Michelob Ultra. Hip Hop Brad said that's exactly what it is. Now, what exactly are you saying that it is, beloved? Because there's numerous answers in the chat. Michelob Ultra can is the same size as Red Bull. Uh, look back up the ribbon at the bottom. Hmm. Okay, Rupit said Corona. Does Corona come in a can that looks like that? Okay, I'm gonna look up one more, and I'm giving up after that. Hmm. I don't know. But what I do know is this. This kind of looks like it right here. That well, his has something blue at the top though, it seemed like. I don't know. The bottom line is this. Whatever he was sipping on, um, oh, it says it's Michelob Ultra Seltzer. Okay, let me look that one up. Hold on, beloveds. Let's see here. That is more like what it looks like, you all. That's more like what it looks like to me. What do you all think? It looks more like this one than any of the rest, if I had to guess. But what I will say is this. That's what it is. It looks like seltzer, okay? So they can miss us with it talking about he was drunk, okay? They can miss us with it talking about he was drunk. Now, Miranda says it looks like C2 coconut water more than beer, more than any beer I've seen. C20 coconut water. Hold on, let me see. C20 coconut water. Y'all see that? I don't think it's alcohol, is all I'm saying. Okay? I don't think it's alcohol. Sweet Butter said 5% alcohol. Images Capture said Michelob Ultra Light. Well, here's the thing. Whatever it is, I looked through all the pictures I could find and video footage and all of that, and that's the only picture that I found with Nolan holding anything in his hand. So with that all being said, I do not think that Nolan was drunk. I think that is all lies and BS, a smear campaign. What I do know also is this, and I don't know if it's true or not, but what I do know that there was two people supposedly from Ocean Springs who were in TikTok lives, and both of them swore and said that those boys that Nolan went there with, those young men, shall I say, they're not boys, but those people that Nolan went there with said they were the ones that were known for doing certain things. And I don't know anything about if that's true or not because I don't live in Ocean Springs. I'm just telling you what people who proclaim to be from Ocean Springs said. And they also said that Nolan wasn't a person who did those things. So it just seems to me like there's a whole smear campaign, just like Fred the Jig said. Okay? Please pay attention. I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe a word of it. Okay? That's what I don't believe. Now, what I do think is that someone did something egregious to Nolan, and other people are helping these people who did it. And I'm not saying who these people are that did it, because clearly I don't know. But whoever they are, I think that they're being helped in the cover up of it all. That's just exactly what I think. Okay, please pay attention. Now let's go to Secret Service Sam, what he has to say about this list that they've put out with his name on it. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. So let me just tell you all for the record, this list is not an official list. This is not a list made by law enforcement. It's not a list made by, the boys' attorneys. It's not by any of their attorneys or anything like that. It's not by Ben Crump or anything. This list was made by MAGA Minion trolls. Okay, made by MAGA Minion trolls. And they're just trying to go at people that they see, certain people they see talking about it or whatever. But like I told y'all, they know not to come for me, honey. And obviously they know not to come for Nancy Grace because her name's not even on there either. Okay, please pay attention. But here's what Sam had to say about it. High Noon Tequila Seltzer Water Queen. Okay, I'm going to look that one up, beloved. Thank you. High Noon Tequila Seltzer Water. I'll look that up while you all listen to Sam for a second.
I'm here with a Nolan Xavier Wells update, and they've made a list. The racists have made a list of people that they're allegedly going to go after and sue for defamation. How ridiculous is this? What is this, like the top rappers category? I didn't even make the top 5. I saw Kimbra. She was upset. She was 73. She should be up in the top 5. I mean, what is this? A Chinese menu of freedom fighters? I'll take a number 38, Secret Service Sam. Usually as a comedian, we're wanting to make like varieties, top 10 comedians of people to look out for. But this is one list that I'm most proud of. What is going on here? Like, I was 38. I'm okay with that. I was surprised at first. I was like, hey, I'm not on the list. I'm like, oh, there I am. But I just want to say something. Isn't it so ridiculous? Don't you wish? Imagine there's no heaven. Imagine if we lived in a world where these stupid racists spent their time trying to find out what happened to Nolan Xavier Wells instead of sitting around making stupid lists of civil rights content creators who are doing what's right, on standing on the right side of fence, on the right side of history, actually trying to find out what happened to your best friend. But no, they would rather hire lawyers, lawyer up. Why don't you hire a lawyer for the family to try and help them? No, they got Ben Crump. They don't need anybody else. But I'm digressing. My point is, put your energy into finding Nolan Wells and not finding content creators. Because I've talked to my lawyer, right? I'm good. I don't accuse anybody of anything. I just spit facts. I give my opinion and I tell it like it is. And on behalf of the whole entire world and the Black community and everybody watching this, spend your energy finding Nolan Xavier Wells and cut out your silly racist games of trying to threaten us with defamation. Miss me with that bullshit. Because we don't care. Because all we care about is justice. No justice, no peace. Secret Service Sam Out Samson for president of the world.
All right. Said. All right, y'all heard what he said. I find it all so nefarious. Let me tell y'all something. These devils are so crazy. Okay, I knew the list was all BS when I saw the lounge was #1. Poor little lounge, as sweet as she is, like I said, what has she ever done? Okay? These people are something else. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, okay, so I looked up the high tequila seltzer water. This looks kind of plausible, but hold on, let me put Nolan's picture back up again real quick. I just don't think it's anything that has alcohol in it. That's what I don't think. Oh goodness, did I delete it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me go back to it. The drink is called High Noon. Okay, y'all got me on a hunt here. I feel like I'm Sherlock Holmes, for real. High Noon. What is High Noon? I don't think it's the tequila seltzer water, beloved. Let me go to that now. Then I'm going to look up High Noon. I told y'all that was going to be my last lookup, but I guess I'll keep going. Hold on. Wait a second. What is this? This is sparkling water in a can. Premium tequila seltzer. Isn't that more like what it looks like? That's more like what it looks like, right? I mean, in my opinion. What say you? It looks to me like he's drinking a High Noon seltzer. My guess is the peach flavor. Okay. Now we're going to try this High Noon, and after that, it's a wrap. All these cans look the same. Even if I type in peach flavor, they still all look the same. Now this looks familiar. Maybe that is what it is. Okay, well, it looks like the mystery solved. It looks like the mystery solved because the thing is that doesn't look like beer. It doesn't look like it's an alcoholic beverage. It could absolutely be some sort of seltzer water, in my opinion. The bottom line is Nolan didn't look like he was drunk at all. And I don't believe any of this bullcrap that they're saying about him having been drunk, okay, or having done anything else nefarious. Okay? So with that all being said, likes up, everyone, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you all for tuning in. Now, here's the thing, though. Let's just talk about this for a second. These people have been telling a myriad of lies. Okay. They have been trying so hard to do damage control because that's all this is. All of them going out here to get all these lawyers and talk about suing people, defamation lawsuits, and all of this, collecting gifts and gold money for wrongful deaths. First of all, and then hiring a criminal defense attorney. Now, why would they hire a criminal defense attorney? Because that's exactly who J. Tyler Cox is. Okay. So what's that all about? Do they know something we don't? I have several questions, but they've been out here spinning the narrative, okay, playing the reverse Uno card, trying to make us feel bad because we're just asking for questions. People in the town going in on the mother just because she's trying to get answers for her son. They didn't have that same energy and smoke for the young girl who died that was 13 years old when her mother was seeking justice. That's what they didn't have. So at the end of the day, I don't think that anyone in Ocean Springs, other than Nolan's parents and maybe a few other people, but let me just say, collectively, the population in Ocean Springs who looks like or who doesn't look like me, I don't think they want justice. I think they just want things to go on as usual, nothing to see here, folks, and want us to act as though this was all just an accident. But the funny thing is, there has been so many of these darn accidents that have been happening in the last 3 months, specifically in the month of January. Okay? So what are we supposed to do? Just act like we don't see it? Just take them at their word when they tell us there's nothing to see here, no evidence of foul play? And even when they tell us that before the investigation has even been started? The fact that a sheriff will come out and say something so foolish before even beginning an investigation leads me to think that he never wanted to do it in the first place. Okay, that's what I get from that. Now, I've already told you all and proven to you all with receipts, mind you, that there is a whole lot of Klan activity going on down there. And the reason I keep bringing that up is because I don't want you all, when you think about the Klan, and maybe I should stop posting the Klan in those pictures with the hoods, because a lot of people seem to think that this is the only people, these are the only people that are in the Klan, people that wear hoods, or that the people in the Klan, you'll always be able to notice them from, their hoods and capes. But I'm telling you all, these people walk around in police uniforms. They walk around in suits and ties. They walk around in skirts and dresses. Okay, they sit behind benches with black robes on, holding gavels in their hands. These people down there in Ocean Springs, the collective of the officials down there, this is my opinion. I can't substantiate this. I've never even been to Ocean Springs, let the record reflect. But what I will say is I do believe that the officials down there in Ocean Springs are all collectively engaged in a cover-up. And I don't know why yet, but I sure think we're going to find out as long as we keep looking and searching for answers. Why haven't they said anything about there being cameras out there? Why haven't they said anything about why Bart's GPS was not being tracked for a certain period of time? Why hasn't anyone been arrested for anything, including, but not limited to, obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence? There's not one single bit of probable cause for anyone to have been locked the hell up at this point. Make it make sense, because it doesn't make any. Lurk Squad said we're definitely going to find out. Absolutely, because we're not going to stop. And they can threaten all the lawsuits and all of that. They can accuse people of defamation as much as they want. But the bottom line is we want to know what the hell happened to Nolan Xavier Wells. Okay? And then, Bart's coach came out and spoke for him yesterday. If you all saw that video where I talked about that, his coach came out and said, well, we've not heard anything about Bart being accused or there been any evidence against him or whatever. Well, that depends on what you call evidence. Because in my opinion, there is something called circumstantial evidence. And I know darn well we have seen and heard enough of circumstantial evidence. Okay, would anyone agree or disagree? Let's talk about it. Let's go to the definition of it. Circumstantial evidence is indirect proof that does not directly point to a conclusion. Instead, it presents a set of facts or circumstances from which a judge or jury can reasonably infer that a specific event occurred or that a person committed a crime. And we don't have any of that. Oh, yeah, I beg to differ. I absolutely think that there's circumstantial evidence. Okay? I absolutely do. And here's how it works. It requires a logical step. It connects one proven fact to another unproven fact. It relies on human reason and common sense. But I guess some of these people down there, these officials down there, including Sheriff Ledbetter, okay, it seems like maybe they don't have common sense. Okay? Maybe they don't have common sense. So let me just give you some examples of circumstantial evidence. Physical items, like finding a person's fingerprints or shoe prints at a crime scene. Behaviors, seeing someone run away from a location after a crime happens, or deleting and deactivating their social media and then removing pictures that they already uploaded. Okay? Timing and tools. Let's talk about buying specific items like tape and gloves just before an incident. Let's talk about making a call to dispatch for a tow for your boat, and then you cancel it when you literally just said you were sinking. That's not circumstantial evidence. What about you saying that you saw your friend and he said that you said you saw him last at 3 o'clock, and then you said you saw him right as you were leaving because your boat was taking on water and he was with a girl, and he said he was going to stay and didn't want to go with you because he was going to go with her. But then in the report, you say, or some of them say, that he was there with some unknown girl. He was with some unknown girl. But then later they say that the girl was Katie McCormick, which clearly they all knew who she was. I mean, I'm just saying, why are there so many lies being told? Why are there so many discrepancies in their stories? And then for weeks, for a whole month, you don't reach out to the family. You don't offer up your condolences. You don't come to the funeral. You don't do anything that so-called best friends would do, because they all three, Jax, Trayson, and Warren, said that they were Nolan's best friends. Warren went as far as to say that Nolan was like a brother to him. But you don't show any sort of condolences to the family. You don't go and try to speak to them, tell them what you know or anything like that. You didn't do any of that stuff. And then here's the thing that really gets me. Now, they want us to think they were so concerned and worried about Nolan, and they're so brokenhearted now, returning back to the scene. But the bottom line is, when they all left that island, didn't they go and party at their friend Ava's house that night? Oh, yeah, that's right. Everyone partied except for Warren, because remember, Warren said that he was sitting upstairs on the couch talking to Ava's father about boats. Okay? Y'all believe that? Who in the hell's talking about boats when there's a whole party going on? And you're a young man who was clearly white boy wasted from the looks of it. This is all speculation when you were at Horn Island. But now all of a sudden you're sitting up under somebody's parent when you're underage and you were drinking. And that's not alleged because he said it himself. Okay, he said that himself. So I just don't believe anything these people say. Okay, it's just a whole lot of lies and a whole lot of BS. And TMZ is part of this cover up, in my opinion. TMZ needs to be canceled. Okay, they absolutely need to be canceled because they're always out here painting a narrative and telling what I like to deem as half truths. Now, that's my opinion, Harvey Levin, and I'm entitled to it. It seems like they're just telling half truths. Half truths when they release that audio with the 30 seconds at the beginning missing. Half truths when they come out now and say that Nolan's frenemies went to Horn Island and they broke down. Okay, or they got emotional. Well, my question is, what were they emotional about? Because it's sure as hell you're not going to convince me that it was about Nolan. Okay, because we've seen anything but emotion from them when speaking on him. So why would we all of a sudden think that they're supposed to be so overcome with emotion when they go to Horn Island, especially when Warren was just there with Tap Dancing Tatum? Okay, make that make sense. These people just lie so much, and I'm really getting sick of it. And I'm sure you are too. Okay? I'm sure you are too. So anyway, let me check for any further updates before I conclude this broadcast. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on. Okay, there doesn't appear to be any further updates at this point. But what I do know is a whole bunch of people on social media, specifically TikTok, are very upset about the BS that's going on. Okay, absolutely upset about it. And it seems like people are being punished for even speaking on it, for daring to say anything. Hold on. Let me pull this video up. This is something that, let me see here. Okay, I'm sending this to my email. Hold on, beloveds. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, now let's check this out. Let me see what we got here. Reckless endangerment. Captain of boat inviting passengers. Nolan get on the boat onto a sinking vessel. Right, and that made no sense to me either. As I told you all weeks ago, why would you be telling someone to get on a boat that you just claimed was sinking? Okay, all crazy. The internet is outraged. Justice for Nolan or else. Okay, let's get into it. This was reported by Big Kish a few hours ago.
I really don't mean to rush things, but we got to hurry up and review these TikTok videos by J. Megan because they are erasing her videos. But we're going to tackle a lot more things that's been coming out as far as Bart coach coming out. They're saying these people done hired a Trump attorney. I don't know how true it is, but we're going to tackle everything that's been going on. Let's get it, y'all.
This is now the second video that I've made about Nolan Wells. Inexplicably is not eligible for the For You page. And that's not including the 3 videos that they
Okay, we've already seen J. Megan's videos, and she does very good research as far as I'm concerned. Now, with that all being said, reckless endangerment, right. Absolutely. And first of all, BUI, like I told you all early. Okay? If you're driving a boat and you've been drinking, you absolutely should have some consequences for that. Okay? They're not saying anything about any of these crimes. And I want you all to pay attention because Warren literally, and I pointed this out to you when the interview came out, Warren admitted to a crime. Okay? He literally admitted to a crime. He certainly did. Hold on, what's this about Trayson? He said that everyone was drinking, but no one was of age to even be drinking. Hold on, this is something about Trayson. Let me see what this is. This is why I asked which boat Trayson Shepherd left Horn Island on. Let me send this to my email so we can see this. We have to examine everything that's going on, beloveds. We just have to continue to press forward. Even if something looks like it may not be important, we have to still check it out. Okay? So this is something about Trayson. Hold on. Okay. Let's get into it. Like, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Sending this to my email. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. It's taking me a second. Okay, here it comes now. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go.
Police before coming out to the public. I personally don't believe that. In my own opinion, I felt like they only came out and started talking due to the fact that that altercation video ended up circulating around and it ended up showing that boat in there. If it wouldn't have showed they boat in there and showing them in there, I personally don't feel like they would have came out and said anything whatsoever at all. And I kind of feel like they came out kind of as a cover. And that's my own speculation, my own opinion. But as she says right here, Trayson did not leave after the altercation. Once we got him on the boat, he did not leave our boat. So therefore, she made it seem as if Trayson was on that boat with them and including herself. But I'm not seeing Trayson leave that island on the same boat as Ivy Elizabeth in those photos as I showed everybody. As well as it's looking like one of those boats was that altercation boat, and we're still not seeing Trayson Shepherd inside of that photo of the altercation boat allegedly leaving the island on July 4th. So therefore, if Trayson Shepherd never left that altercation boat, he should have still been on that boat. So therefore, if Trayson Shepherd never left the boat that he allegedly was on during that altercation, where that altercation was going on, what boat was that specifically that Trayson Shepherd was on? Because then if the actual boat that Trayson Shepherd was on was actually away from that altercation video, then that would then mean that that wouldn't have been possible for Trayson Shepherd to be in that altercation video. And that's very important. Because then if it wasn't Trayson Shepherd in that altercation video, then it must have been who people were speculating it to be in the first place, 18-year-old Nolan Wells. This is just my opinion, everybody. And this is just saying, if Trayson Shepherd truly wasn't on the boat that actually they say that that altercation was on, then what boat was Trayson Shepherd on, and how far away from the altercation was that boat? Because as we see in the photos of those boats leaving the island on the 4th of July, we're not seeing Trayson Shepherd on those boats, in which one of those boats was supposed to be the altercation boat, as Anna's boat, the green one, was supposed to be the one right next to that altercation boat, which in the message I showed everybody, Ivy Elizabeth say that after they got Trayson Shepherd on that boat, he never left off of the boat. And it didn't say anything about Trayson Shepherd's uncle waving him down. In fact, in that message, Ivy Elizabeth says that her uncle, not Trayson Shepherd's uncle. So are they related? In the case of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, all
He said the details aren't aligning with each other, and they're not because they're lying. Okay, that's why the details are not aligning, beloveds. I want you all to pay attention. And here's the thing, though. This is what I'm hoping. Okay, I'm hoping that they will eventually turn on one another, because these are some privileged white young men who think that everything is clearly supposed to go their way. And so the one thing they don't want to be considered is murderers. Okay, they don't want to be considered as murderers. So I think, or I'm hoping, that they turn on one another, and start pointing the finger. Okay, start pointing the finger and start snitching. Now, here's the problem. Sheriff Ledbetter could have already gotten to the root of the problem, but I think he's involved in the deep cover-up. I think he's one of the main key players in the cover-up, Sheriff Ledbetter. Yes, I said you. And I'm not saying that this is what you did. I'm just telling you this is what I think you did. Okay, that's just what I think. Because the bottom line is, I told you all from day one, all they had to do, in my opinion, to get this thing started, if they were really doing their due diligence and really searching for truth and justice for Nolan and his family, they would have had those boys brought in for questioning, had them in separate rooms, and girls, the young ladies too, brought them in, had them in separate rooms, played good cop, bad cop, like I told you at the very beginning of the first week, and just told them, if you didn't do anything, you don't want to go down for what someone else did, do you? Maybe you need to start talking and telling us everything you know. I would hate to see you spend the rest of your life in prison for something that someone else did. You can't worry about taking care of your friends and trying to protect them right now. You need to be worried about protecting yourself. What are your mom and dad going to think if you go to prison? How's your life going to be impacted? You would be talking to them like that. I would be the good cop, telling them how bad it can get and how you just need to come clean. If you know something, just say something, and we'll see what we can work it out so you don't get any charges. That's what I would have said. But meanwhile, Sheriff Ledbetter already said that, he had a preconceived notion. He clearly speculated the same thing he wants us not to do, that it was nothing to see her votes. Okay? That's what he did. So please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this video from a young man from Mississippi and what he has to say about the whole situation. I mean, listen, a lot of people have theories, myself and others. But the reason we have all these theories is because we don't know what the hell happened. And it doesn't seem like the sheriff or anyone else down there in Ocean Springs who's supposed to be investigating or working on this case is trying to help us. Okay, that's what it doesn't seem like. Likes up. Please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Check this out. So I was actually working on my car when I thought about this. And being that I'm from Mississippi and I know how Mississippi folks operate, this is what I think that possibly could have happened in Northern Wells. Now bear with me. What if they got in an altercation, they started fighting, Nolan got hit with a mean ass massive blow. Like they kind of cheated and hit him with something hard, per se something from the boat or like a rock or something, right? And he wasn't dead. And before they continued doing what they doing, they knew that his injuries would possibly cause him to die. So they threw him in the water, hoping that if he drowned, that would be his probable cause of death. Explains why they couldn't find him. But like I said, he wasn't dead. So he climbed back up on shore and he laid there. And that was his death. I say he wasn't dead. Like I said, this is a probable cause. I could be wrong, but I say that boy wasn't dead yet. Not only did they leave him, even if they knew he wasn't dead, they didn't call for help. Locked their ass up. Y'all.
Okay, yeah, I definitely don't think that's how it happened, beloved. But thanks for your thoughts and views. Okay. Hold on. Hold on, beloved. Now let's talk about this for a second. Because I already told you all what I think, and I'm still sticking to it. That's exactly what I think, what I told you all on yesterday. Okay. And by the way, let's talk about all of the charges that one could receive. Okay. Let's get into it. All of the charges one could receive for, in fact, being drunk operating a boat. And I want you all to remember something. They're trying, listen, this is how I know damage control when I see it, right? And you all do too. So let me just say this. Now, remember about a week or so ago, and as I told you all, I said that it was interesting how Warren didn't have any empathy, sympathy, didn't look like he was hurt or whatever when he returned back to Horn Island with Officer Tap Dancing Rage Batum Tatum. But also think about how Elliott Connie, whose name is also on that bogus list made up by MAGA minions, in my opinion, AE the Confederates, or IE the Confederates. Now, but do you remember when Elliott Connie said that, hold on, beloved, something just popped up. Okay. Now, I want you all to think about this. So they're acting as though nothing happened or whatever, and nobody did anything suspicious or whatever. But think about how Elliott Connie pointed out Warren's deceptive tactics. Not saying that he was lying. He never called him a liar, but he simply said that he was being deceptive. And it was clear that he was. Okay, so why would he have been deceptive if he didn't do anything? But also, the main important thing I want you to think about what Elliott Connie said was when he said they didn't have any curiosity factor, is what I think he called it. Basically, he said they weren't asking questions. They didn't have any who, what, when, where, or whys as to how Nolan ended up dead. They didn't seem the least bit curious, is all I'm saying, like how we are so curious and searching and hunting for answers under every rock and overturning every stone. They didn't have any of that. But now, all of a sudden, they're curious. They're going out to Horn Island to look for dynamics and layout of the land. Now, all of a sudden, they're trying to do everything that we said they weren't doing in the first place. This is absolutely damage control. They could miss me with it, okay? Because that's exactly what it is. Now, let's talk about this. the charges that a person could face for operating a vehicle, i.e., a boat, right, while drunk if someone got hurt, injured, or died. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that anyone in this case did that. I'm just curious, okay, about all the charges that they could get hit with. A person who operates a boat while under the influence and causes injury or death faces a combination of heavy criminal charges. Depending on the state where the incident occurs, prosecutors will typically hit the operator with multiple counts spanning the initial intoxication, now the physical harm caused, and any secondary safety violations. An operator can expect to face the following specific charges. Let's talk about it, because maybe this has something to do with why anyone, and I'm not saying who, but why anyone ever would cover up something that happened on a boat that they were in fact in charge of. First of all, you have homicide by vessel, and that's first degree. The primary charge used in states like Georgia when a boater causes a fatality specifically through an unlawful act like BUI, which means boating under the influence, okay? Now, this is a severe felony carrying lengthy prison terms. See, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. What I said yesterday, I absolutely believe that's what happened. Okay, they all had been drinking according to Warren. Okay, they all had been drinking according to Warren. So who was driving those boats? I'm so glad you asked. They were. So if you're driving a boat, and then specifically, if you tell someone to tow your boat and they're not a professional, don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're drunk to boots. I'm not saying they were drunk. I'm not saying any of these people did anything. This is all hypothetical, and it may not even pertain to them. Let's not even talk about them for a second. Let's leave them out of it, because nobody wants to get sued, right? So let's talk about it like this. Let's just say me and some of the royals go out to an island. We'll call it Devil's Island, because the devil has horns. Pay attention. So we'll go out to Devil's Island, and then we're out there drinking, and I'm driving one of the boats, and the lounge is driving one of the boats, and we have Odd Negroes official driving one of the boats, and Buckhorse DC driving one of the boats. We all go out there and we get drunk. Okay? And then as we're leaving, the boat that I'm on starts to take on water. So I say. Now, then we make a call to dispatch, and the dispatch says, well, how much water's in the boat? And I can't really think about how much water's in the boat because I'm tipsy, clearly drunk. And so then my grandfather cancels the boat or the boat tow. Meanwhile, you hear a bunch of royals in the background screaming, is he dead? Check his chest. You hear all this crazy stuff going on, and you're like, when you hear this audio later, in hindsight, after this person who was with us is found dead, you're wondering what exactly happened and who did what. Clearly, everyone would have questions, right? So why are they acting like we're crazy? Because we have questions. But here's the thing. Now, if someone could get involved in a situation like that and they knew that they were facing possible prison time, not to mention wrongful death lawsuits, that absolutely would be a motive, okay, for them to try and cover it up. That would absolutely be a motive. Also, someone asked, when I posted that video yesterday, someone wanted to know, and I didn't get to answer their question because the broadcast was concluding and the music was already playing, but someone said, why then, if that's the case, if my theory is the case, why would they keep the throat and the lungs? And my answer to that is simple. Because if they had the throat and lungs, they could prove whether or not the person drowned. And according to my theory, I don't think that anyone drowned that day. That's what I don't think. I think there was too many darn people out there for someone to simply drown and nobody saw nothing. Whatever happened to anyone, I would guess if I had to. And like I said, I don't know anything. This is all pure speculation. I can't blame any of these people for anything because for all we know, it could absolutely have been an accidental drowning. Let me just state that for the record. But if anything happened even remotely close to my theory, or like what happened with Paul Murdaugh, Alex's son, when he was driving that boat and committed a whole BUI, That would absolutely be a motive for someone to want to cover this all up. Nobody wants to go to prison. Okay. No one wants to have to spend millions of dollars for wrongful death lawsuits, just like Alex Murdaugh didn't want to do that. Please pay attention. Now, here are some more of the charges they could face. And remember, if you have a relative that's a judge or an attorney, they will be able to tell you all of this that I'm about to read to you. And I'm sure that they too wouldn't want you to go to prison. And they wouldn't want to have to spend millions of dollars on wrongful death lawsuits that you acquired, because 9 times out of 10, it wasn't even your boat. Okay, but let's continue. So BUI manslaughter, BUI manslaughter/manslaughter in the second degree, utilized in many jurisdictions. This felony charge applies when an operator recklessly causes the death of another person while operating a watercraft under the influence. Criminally negligent homicide, a lesser felony charge that may be added if the state argues the operator failed to perceive a massive unjustifiable risk that resulted in death. Second set of charges related to serious injuries. Serious injury by vessel, a specific felony charge triggered when a boater causes severe bodily harm, such as a loss of limb, disfigurement, or organic brain damage while operating under the influence. BUIs causing serious bodily injury, the equivalent felony standard in various state codes, penalizing the operator for every individual who is heavily hurt in the crash. Aggravated assault, battery by vessel. Depending on local statutes, prosecutors may tack on standard criminal battery or assault charges if the vessel was operated with reckless disregard for human life. Please pay attention. Boating under the influence, the foundational charge for operating a vessel with a blood alcohol concentration at or above the legal limit, typically 0.08%. And this is for adults. A separate BUI count can be issued for each type of impairment: BUI alcohol, BUI illegal substances. Reckless operation, reckless endangerment, a charge for operating a boat with a willful or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property. Child endangerment. If there are children on board the vessel, such as under the age of 14 in Georgia, at the time of the drunk driving accident, a separate mandatory child endangerment charge is added for every child present. Now, before I read any more of this, let's just see if any of this even applies to Mississippi. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, as you can see, it says yes. A resounding yes. The general categories of charges apply to Mississippi, but Mississippi uses different specific legal names and rules compared to other states. Most importantly, if you're operating a boat in Mississippi waters, the legal BAC limit is actually higher than on the road. Okay, that means blood alcohol content for anyone confused. Now, under the Mississippi Alcohol Boating Safety Act, the legal blood alcohol concentration limit for boating under the influence is 0.10% or higher, whereas standard driving DUI is 0.8%. However, if the U.S. Coast Guard enforces BUI in federal waters off the coast, the lower 0.8% federal limit applies. Now, U.S. Coast Guard enforces BUI in federal waters. Okay. Now, with that all being said, if an accident results in serious injury or death, the applicable charges under Mississippi law include felony BUI, injury or death. Mississippi does not use terms like homicide or homicide by vessel or intoxication manslaughter. Instead, under Mississippi Code Statute 59-23-7, causing death or serious injury while operating a watercraft under the influence is automatically classified as a felony. Do you think they wanted to ruin these boys' lives and careers and list them and label them as felonies, something that would haunt them for the rest of their lives? Absolutely not. Now, I'm not saying that they should have been charged or hit with felonies, because I don't even know if they did anything. But if they did what I think they did, well, that would be felonious. Now, manslaughter. Prosecutors can separately charge the operator with manslaughter under Mississippi's general homicide statutes if the operation of the vessel was grossly negligent or reckless. What would be grossly negligent or reckless on a boat? Oh, that's right. If you took your boat and hooked it to a 22 Triton, a 22-foot Triton that weighs thousands of pounds, and you tried to pull it. Okay, yeah, that would be reckless. Please pay attention. And I've already shown you the proof of that on yesterday. Now, goes on to say that a reckless operation administered by Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks, this handles operating a vessel with a willful or wanton disregard for safety. And then they go on to talk about child endangerment some more. But the bottom line is, hold on. I think I read from the wrong part. But anywho, let me start right here. So, no, I was at the right part. Okay. Now, post-crash violations. Failure to render aid. Mississippi law dictates that operators involved in a boating accident must stay at the scene, offer assistance to the injured, and immediately report the collision. Fleeing results in separate criminal charges. Y'all see that? Fleeing results in separate criminal charges. So I find that all interesting. Okay, I find that all interesting because my question is, if someone was injured or dying on somebody's boat, did anyone bother or think or attempt to render aid? Did anyone think to render any sort of aid? Because it certainly doesn't seem like it. Okay, it certainly doesn't seem like it. Now, with that all being said, abandonment, says Sweet Butters. I absolutely agree. Okay, I absolutely agree. User Z27 says accessory to the facts. Absolutely. Big Mike says no life jackets and were on underage boaters. They claimed they had life jackets when the dispatcher, Vicky, asked them. Wyatt said, yes, we have life jackets, but I didn't see any life jackets. Did you all? Because I sure didn't. And if you have life jackets and your boat's sinking, wouldn't you want to put them on? Okay, what is this, the Titanic? You're just going to let it all go down? I mean, make that all make sense. The lies are just getting nefarious at this point. Okay, absolute nefarious. Dawn says Mississippi makes their own laws as they go along. Well, beloved, you know, that's certainly what it sounds like. The captain of the boat has responsibility, says Darnell. You know, absolutely. They absolutely have responsibilities. Okay? Question is, who were the captains on these boats leaving Horn Island on the day that Nolan passed away? Bart. Okay, Bart. And Wyatt, right? At least I think that it was Bart on his boat and Wyatt on his grandfather's boat. Hold on, beloveds. Likes up, everyone, please. Thank you in advance. I'm looking for something really quick. I'm looking up to see exactly how much money Alex Murdaugh had to end up paying for that boat crash that his son committed. Okay, so he got off kind of easy, in my opinion, because it says his insurance company paid $500,000 for the settlement to the family of Mallory Beach, who died in 2019 due to the boat crash. The payout finalized Alex's personal resolution in a wrongful death lawsuit conditioned on him being dropped as a direct defendant. Now, Parker's Kitchen settlement, $15 million was paid by the convenience store chain that illegally sold alcohol to underage Paul Murdaugh prior to the crash. So they sued the owners of the convenience store who sold the illegal substances to Paul, but I thought they said Paul had his father's license. Hold on. I could have sworn that's what it was. Maybe I was wrong. Let me check. No, he actually used his older brother Buster Murdoch's driver's license. Okay, so here's my thing. The surveillance footage from the store caught the 19-year-old Paul presenting Buster's ID to the clerk. While he used Buster's ID, he paid for the alcohol using his mother Maggie Murdoch's credit card. Before the store clerk accepted an ID that belonged to a different person and didn't match the name to the credit card, the Beach family filed a wrongful, because the store clerk accepted an ID that belonged to a different person and didn't match the name on the credit card, the Beach family filed a wrongful death lawsuit directly against Parker's Kitchen. This major security oversight is what ultimately led to the massive $15 million lawsuit paid by the convenience store chain. Well, here's the thing. You see how this is privilege right here, folks? This is privilege right here. Now, how do you use a fake ID, go purchase alcohol, get wasted, and then go drive a boat and people end up dying? But because you used a fake ID, because clearly you were being nefarious and deceptive, they want to blame the store for selling you the liquor? But they thought that was him. That was his older brother who likely looks like him. So now they're going to place the blame on someone else. Let me tell you all something. This is the epitome of privilege. You see, people who are so privileged and rich and all of that and have these high-profile parents who are just like, the officials of the town and all of this. And they have all of these people that they can get to work in tandem with them where they're doing something nefarious. That's nothing more than privilege, because we would like for them to explain why the store is to blame when clearly they were deceived. So if they started locking up, or not locking up, but if they started suing every store owner because somebody showed them a fake ID, do you know how stupid that is? How was this person supposed to know that was a fake ID? If you have a brother or sibling, whether it's a sister or brother, that looks exactly like you, how are you going to blame the person who fell for it? Make that make sense. And also, they said because he used a credit card with a different name. It was his mother's credit card. People do this all the time, but in this case, since they want to find someone to blame, that's what they do. Well, I just want you all to pay attention to the case of Murdoch, because that's exactly what's going on right here. Okay, I've been comparing these two situations from day one, and I'm telling you, I can see what's coming down the pike. Okay, I can absolutely see what's coming down the pike. This is all so crazy, and it's really starting to get upsetting. Okay, it's really starting to get upsetting. That's already been upsetting, but they're really starting to tick me off because they keep just taking us around in circles. Okay, sending us on wild goose chases. They have us stuck like a hamster in a wheel, just spinning around and around and around, and we're not getting anywhere, even though we keep moving. Overthought said the credit card doesn't match the fake ID. Well, here's the thing, beloved. There's been times when I have used someone's credit card and it didn't match my ID. So make that make sense. Also, even though the ID wasn't his, the person likely was fooled, because if it's an older sibling, they probably look a lot alike. So all I'm saying is they're trying to shift the blame and act as though the clerk and the store are the ones who are at fault, but aren't the people who victimized them by going in there being deceptive so they could do illegal actions, aren't they the ones that should have been blamed for that, and not the people who run the store? All I'm trying to show you all is this. When certain people do stuff, even if it's criminal, they don't get any responsibilities or consequences. Rather than blame them, they want to blame the people who own the store who were tricked. That's the play here. And y'all don't think that's exactly what's going on with Nolan's case? Because I absolutely do. And I can't prove it, but I hope that someday we all can, with receipts. Okay? That's right. Dawn said, I have used a credit card without an ID. Exactly. It doesn't matter. I've let my sons use my credit card. It doesn't have their name on it, it has mine, and they showed their ID. So the bottom line is that dog is not going to hunt. That's right, Sweet Butter says passing the buck. Okay? That's all they do. They even make up scenarios to get these people off. Remember how they lied on that, or they lied for that teenager who took the lives of 4 people because he was drinking and driving. He got probation. He got probation. That's crazy as hell. Do you think that would have been been the situation for any of us, of the people that look like me? Absolutely not. There's no way that would have happened, okay? They would not have gone for it ever. You're going to jail. They're not going to be telling you can go over and sue this store owner or the clerk who was at the station or at the cash register. Okay? The person at the cash register did their duty. They asked for ID. They were presented with ID. Now, they're not a facial recognition expert, I'm sure. And we all know that very often our siblings look like us. Some of them look so much like us, we could almost be twins. They're going to blame them. That's just how it goes. And like I told you all, pay attention, because the same exact thing is going to be happening right here. Okay, the same exact thing. $15 million because someone came in your store and lied to you about who they were. Make that make sense. Okay, that's right. Carl said white privilege at its finest. Absolutely. Okay, I absolutely agree. Truth Brown said we would have been under the jail. You already know. Dawn says, I live in Georgia and I got locked up for public intoxication walking down the street. So make that make sense. I mean, I would love to, but unfortunately, I can't. The sad thing is I can't make sense of anything that these devils do. Because first of all, they don't operate on logic and common sense like most of us do. They operate on such a low vibrational frequency that they absolutely have to be none other than the children of Satan. Buckhorse DC says, Emmett Till, I know you will. Is that supposed to be bars, Buckhorse DC, beloved? Okay, is that what that is? Thank you for insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Sweet Butter says, I got arrested in my front yard in California for intoxication. How do you get arrested in your own darn front yard? What I'm saying is this. They love to just pin anything on black folk, whether you did something or you didn't. They love to just pin something on us. Meanwhile, letting whole crooks and criminals, just because they have the complexion for the protection, to get away with anything, even up to and not limited to murder. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that anyone involved in this case committed any murder. I'm just speaking generally. This is what devils do. This is absolutely what devils do. Buckhorse DC says Black Power forever. Okay, Buckhorse DC, beloved. Thank you for that. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so, this is a whole lot. And the devils are doing the most. And here's the thing. It seems like they just sit at home. And I'm talking about Warren and his friends. It seems to me like they just sit at home waiting and watching the internet, gathering information and details and absorbing everything that we're saying that they're not doing. And then right after we say they're not doing this or they're not doing that, then guess what? They come out of the woodwork and start doing this, that, and the third. And in many cases, doing too damn much. That's why they're looking so guilty as hell right now. You see, the cleanup is just a bit too much. It's giving performative. Okay, it's giving lies and BS. It's giving, we are guilty as hell. Now, I'm not saying that they're guilty as hell. I'm just saying that's what it's giving, because that's what it's looking like. That's what it's sounding like. Because all this stuff right here, this is all too much. Why in the hell are people online doing more of an investigation than Sheriff Ledbetter? I have several questions. Why isn't there any level of transparency? I want to find out. What are they going to present to the grand jury? Will they give them all of the facts, all of the evidence and information that they have compiled at all? Did they even compile any evidence? I would love to know. Or are they going to waltz up in there to the grand jury and basically lay down a few facts that lead the grand jurors to believe there's nothing to see here, folks? And that will be nothing other than Southern fried justice. Okay? And this is what they love to dish out. All right. This is what they love to dish out. I'm just not convinced that there's going to be justice in this case. I hope and pray that there is, because I don't think Nolan's mother will be able to sleep good at night unless someone pays for what the hell they did to her son. And we, in my opinion, are not mad enough. I don't think we're mad enough. At the end of the day, we need to be doing something like, say maybe a boycott. I really feel like there needs to be some consequences for these actions. I really feel like there needs to be something done. I'm not saying go out there and riot, loot, do anything foolish, burn anything down, but I think that somebody has to pay consequences for this nefarious BS that's going on. And I think we should all collectively hit those people that are the biggest hitters. Okay, I think we need to boycott them. What do you all think? Because somebody needs to pay. Somebody needs to have consequences. And I don't care if they were involved or not at this point, because here's why I don't give a damn. Because when they come for us, they don't care if they got the right person or not. If one Black person did something, or they even think or suspect that they did, they don't care whether they get the right Black person, as long as they get a white person. So here's how I feel right about now. If that be the case, then let's do it. Because I feel that if that is how they want to play it, then we need to do the same thing as far as boycotting one of their biggest businesses. And even though that business had nothing to do with it, so what? Somebody has to pay. Just like in the case of Rick Chow taking the life of Cyrus Carmack Belton. Okay, Rick Chow did that all on his own, but all of the other people in the Asian community, these business owners, they had to suffer. Guess what? Too bad and so sad. There's always casualties in war, is how I see it. So with that all been said, we need to have a boycott. And who is it going to be? I would vote for Walmart. I sure would. I would vote for Walmart, because Walmart has a history of doing racist things to Black people anyway. They have a history of it. Do you all remember how Walmart had those clothing items hanging from the ceiling? First of all, why the hell are they hanging clothing items from the ceiling? Nobody can get up there to get those things. Okay, why would they be in the ceiling? Make it all make sense. Clearly, they were up there to mimic someone being hung, because that's exactly what it looked like at first glance. That's why the video even went viral. Okay, please pay attention. So I think we need to enact a boycott. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do, because this is all going too far. Pamela said they lynched Nolan on July the 4th. History repeating itself. Exactly. And Nolan's mother looks like Mamie Tills Mobley. History absolutely is repeating itself. But guess what? I'm not going back into slavery, or any of you. I have to ask, because unfortunately, the people like Rage Batum Tatum, he's already in slavery. Okay, he's mentally enslaved. You can see how these people clearly control his mind, his talking points, whatever he says and does. They get him to push all of their narratives, to spew all of their racist rhetoric, to enact all of the hate that they feel against us, because he feels it too, because he doesn't not only like us, but he darn sure doesn't like himself. Okay? That's how that goes. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast, because guess what? You already know I have to come back. And I have a special presentation for you all later on today. It's not about Nolan, but it is about something that we as Black people need to be very aware of and very concerned with. Okay, and it has a lot to do with what I spoke to you all about the other week about the white fragility. What I'm going to show you in this presentation is all about that. It's also a lot about white privilege. It's also about people that really want to create a chaotic environment for Black people to reside. And they're willing to do and say anything to get their agenda accomplished. Black people, we need to be on our P's and Q's, because we are under attack. And if you don't know that by now, I don't know what to tell you. Look at the amount of hangings that have happened in the past, let's say, year. I'm going to come back with the proof and receipts. And we're going to talk about it, because this is all getting out of control. It's getting out of hand. And unless we do something to put a stop to it, it's just going to continue. Somebody has to have some thin pockets. Somebody needs to be losing some money, is all I'm saying. Okay? If Walmart or another big corporation of theirs starts losing business by the millions, and we could easily do it real quick. It wouldn't take long at all. We could easily do it real quick, just like we did with Target. We could make a huge impact. And once we did that, those people that own those businesses that are being targeted for boycotts, maybe then they would come out and speak up on behalf and say, hey, listen, Black people are not checking for us. Y'all need to let them get some justice. Y'all need to start telling them what the hell's really going on. They want answers, and we shouldn't be held accountable for you all's BS. That's what they need to start telling them. We're going to have to start boycotting, and that's just what it is, because I'm going to tell you like this. It's only two things that devils love. And when I say devils, I'm talking about MAGA minions, i.e. Confederates. It's only two things that they care about, and that is blood and revenue. Which one do y'all want to go for? I go for taking away the revenue. That's the safe route. Okay? That's the safe route. So I say, and it's also the most impactful. If you ask me, I mean, look what happened to the Asian community when they came out talking greasy about Black folk. Look how it turned out for them. We need to make the same damn thing apply. Because I'm sorry, but y'all not going to keep having us looking like strange fruit. Y'all not going to keep coming back telling us that it was an accidental drowning every time a Black person goes off with one person by themselves. And also, I want to let you all know that I saw a video that a young white man posted, and that video is very, very dangerous. And I'm going to tell you something else, Black folk. There are some people amongst us that we're going to have to cut off. There are some people sitting amongst us that we're going to have to stop dealing with, because these fools, they're the ones bringing the danger to us. And something is going to have to be done. And we can't start tomorrow. We should have started yesterday. Okay? So y'all need to be deciding, are you ready for a boycott? Because that's exactly what it's going to take. We got to take the money. We got to go after the money. And we shouldn't have any damn problem doing so. Nobody should be complaining, because these are the same people who do not want to give us reparations. They keep talking about none of us were ever enslaved and none of them ever owned slaves and all of this bull crap. But at the end of the day, reparations for us, it's not just about slavery. It's about Jim Crow. It's about police brutality. It's about continuous lynchings, modern day lynchings. It's about Black people being hunted. That's what it's about. And for that, we deserve reparations, but they don't want to give it. Okay, fine. You don't want to give us our money, so we're going to take yours. That's how it should be. They don't want to give us what we're owed, so let's take their damn money, because I am mad as hell, and you all should be too. Do you know how many Black people have died in the last year? Do you know? We're going to talk about it on the next live, because when I tell you, I was crying last night. I was so damn mad. I listened to what this doctor did on her Substack, and we're going to listen to it later. Let me tell you something, Black people. Y'all need to wake the hell up. It is no time for just sitting here complaining and whining on social media. We have to take action, and damn it, we have to do it now. We have to do it now. It's now or never. They're trying to wipe us off the map. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, they've all but told us that in so many words. They're the ones out here making threats of a race war. And who do you think's going to win that? Of course they will. They have the military that'll back them up, just like in Black Wall Street. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I say it's time to beat them at their own game. They want to do this stuff. Let's take back the money, because Black people, y'all already know that collectively we control the spending power. And y'all need to stop spending your darn money on these high-priced, overpriced, shall I say, name brands. First of all, you should be ashamed of yourselves for purchasing that stuff all the time, when half the time you know you're going to be struggling down the line later. And if you don't have generational wealth, you darn sure shouldn't be spending your hard-earned money on that. You're building generational wealth for the opposite army. There is a war on Black people. Are you going to fund a war against yourself? Are you going to? Are you going to continue to fund a war against yourself and your own people, against your children and your grandchildren? Is that what y'all are going to do? If you are, let me know, and I can quit talking, because I'm sick of this crap, and we all should be. And something has got to be done. Trump's not coming out saying anything, because he's the one who spearheaded this crap. Pay attention. All the things that he said and all the lies he's told on Black people. There is an all-out war, and MAGA is leading the charge. And you have people like Jake Lang out here talking about doing a N-word walk. So I'm going to tell y'all right now, we have been bent over for too long, and the longest we've been bent over, as long as we've been kneeling and bent over, they have been standing on our backs and on our necks. And I'm telling y'all right now, God damn it, it's time to stand the hell up. It's time to stand the hell up. Now, I say we propose a boycott and make it stick. Let's do the same thing to them that we did to the Asian community when they came for us. Period. Y'all want to fight unfairly? Well, we'll just stop giving you our money because we know we control the spending power in this country. And we need to show them how we don't have to do what they want us to do. And we don't have to be silent. And we don't have to sit here and keep watching them take our people out one by one. Period. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast because I'm really so mad. I don't even think I can think straight at this point. I'm going to be back later on today. And like I said, I'm coming back with receipts and proof that there is absolutely a war on us. We are being hunted. Now, unless you want to continue to be the prey, and that's P-R-E-Y, unless you want to continue to be the prey, you better stand the hell up and lift your voice and speak out. And you better decide if you're going to unify with the rest of us and take back our money. Because we don't owe them a damn thing, but they sure as hell owe us. Because we didn't start this war. But I say we finish it by keeping our money in our own community and going elsewhere. Let's not go to Walmart. Let's do Walmart even worse than we did Target. Let's take them down, period, and see how they love it. And if that doesn't work, well, let's go for another one. Let's go for, let's say Netflix. Now, I know y'all black folk love your Netflix. Yeah, I'm sure we all do. But at the end of the day, have y'all noticed what's going on with Netflix lately? Before you know it, it's going to be $50 per month. You can't share it with anybody. You know how we used to share our account information and let somebody in the family use it? Can't do any of that. You know who owns Netflix at this point, right? You know what other company they're trying to purchase, right? And they want us to foot the bill. Let's not forget how Netflix put up that disrespectful documentary about Michael Jackson. Let's also not forget how they did Michelle Obama about her documentary when the one for Melania came out. I'm telling y'all right now, I don't give a damn how much I love Netflix or any of that or anything that's on it. At the end of the day, I love my black people better and I love my life better. Do you want to live or do you want to die? Because at the end of the day, there's a storm coming and we need to take shelter right now. So with that all being said, I'm concluding this broadcast, beloveds. I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we're going to thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High always in your life. Until next time, peace.
4th of July. Fireworks in the sky. But the truth's still buried underground. Royal Low. Yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me, praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me, freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the row. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Of the story so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. ghost when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow. Every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth. You can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate, but never including mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, then I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain.